I love the fact that you stated that running can help our mental mindset because I believe that, and there are articles about that on trail running is really good for our mental mindset, our mental brain, our keeping our cognitive abilities sharp because you have to pay attention the whole time. You can't go in auto drive or, just daydreaming mode. If you're out on a road or something, you can just kind of like daydream and not worry about anything. In the trails, you have to pay attention so you don't trip and hurt yourself.
Absolutely, you
And
do.
and so I know I've read stuff about people with to help with dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever, but keep those brain muscles working.
And actually prevent the shrinkage that we see in people's brains as they get to be 70 or 80 years of age. We found that, or medicine has found, not me.
Hey, you guys, welcome to Running Strong Mind Body Connection podcast. I'm excited. There's we can run at any age. And age is just a number, right? And I have this wonderful guest today, Kathy Schlaerth. So I'm hopeful I got that last name right, but it doesn't matter because we're all on this journey in life as it is, and whatever happens, happens. So Kathy, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Super excited to have you. So we don't have to mention age, but you're a runner.
I run, let's put it that way. It's more of a jog, and it's done early in the morning when it's dark and nobody can see how bad I am.
There's a lot of judgment there. We're not bad. It's amazing. Facebook has all sorts of stuff, but there's a lady, 104, who's running 5Ks, who has a 5K record. There's a lady, I mean, these guys, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you're doing it, girl.
That's the important thing, and that's what we want to kind of inculcate in all people, especially our older patients, because it is probably the best medicine you can use to retain your mental and physical capacity far into old age. And you're probably familiar with the Senior Olympics, I would imagine.
I'm not familiar with the
Oh,
Senior Olympics. I
the
don't
Senior
participate in
Olympics,
it.
they have a another name. They're called the National Senior Olympics Organization, and they are Olympics that occur every 2 years, and they are for people, I believe, over 55, and it's open-ended how old you can be to be in the Olympics. And they have a whole bunch of sports that are included in the Senior Olympics, and they take place in different cities, different times. So it might be coming to us for all we know. But they have badminton, basketball, bowling, powerlifting, race walking, cross country, track and field, you name it, triathlon. And people actually are very motivated. And it started out about, I guess, 1967 or 69 in Los Angeles, but it's spread over the country. And so, whereas there used to be a few hundred participants, I understand that there are thousands now.
Yeah. I
So,
would, I would think that the baby boomers would have increased those numbers a lot too.
right. And then we have all those fantastic runners and gymnasts and so forth that are in their 90s and hundreds. So one can maintain function for a long, long time, but it takes a little bit of kind of devotion
Yeah, due
to
diligence, devotion,
exactly. Yeah.
be. I love the fact that you stated that running can help our mental mindset because I believe that, and there are articles about that on trail running is really good for our mental mindset, our mental brain, our keeping our cognitive abilities sharp because you have to pay attention the whole time. You can't go in auto drive or, just daydreaming mode. If you're out on a road or something, you can just kind of like daydream and not worry about anything. In the trails, you have to pay attention so you don't trip and hurt yourself.
Absolutely, you
And
do.
and so I know I've read stuff about people with to help with dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever, but keep those brain muscles working.
And actually prevent the shrinkage that we see in people's brains as they get to be 70 or 80 years of age. We found that, or medicine has found, not me, that people who are very active, both intellectually and also physically, maintain the structure and function of their brains over a long period of time. So that for a superager, and those are defined as people over the age of 80 who have the brain power of somebody who's 50, their brains actually never shrink or don't shrink that much, shrink much less vigorously than people who aren't active intellectually and physically. So it really is a very good medicine. I think it's one of the best ones, and we encourage all of our patients who are over 65 or even under, because it really needs to start younger.
You
You really
do.
need to
And
think
it,
about,
it's funny that the senior age is 55. I'm wondering if some year they're going to up that by 10 years or 15 years
oh,
because
I think
55 is
so.
not that old, really.
No, they're little babies.
I know, right?
Yes.
So I love that because I have a neighbor here in Auburn and she lives by herself. She's been a widow for many, 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 many years. She's 99. She's going to be 100 in March. And she's like, why am I still here? But she has the mental fortitude. She can, her vision's good. She doesn't drive anymore, though. That's her choice. She hears really well, but she thinks she doesn't see. But when I went out for do a walk with her, she's like, can see the plane way up there and she can hear the birds and she can see Mount Diablo and she can see all this stuff. And so she has the idea that she should be blind, but she's not. And, but her mental awareness is amazing. I'm just every time I go over there, I go for a walk with her, and she walks with two canes just because, in case she just like falls, she has something to catch her. But around the house, she's just trooping around the house all by herself, and
Mhm.
she's amazing. And so she walks a mile every day.
Good for her.
I know.
Of course, there's a lot of genetics involved in the aging process, but there's also a lot of, uh, you know, inflexible will that says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be active, I'm going to keep reading things that I haven't read before. That is a part of aging. And actually, there are some places, there's some schools that are doing some extensive work with what are called super agers, but also with agers. And what they have found is that this determination to stay active and to stay mentally alert, in addition to the genetics, becomes a very powerful factor in preventing the physiologic changes are going to occur anyway, but in kind of retarding their appearance. So one of the reasons I was motivated to write my book, The Ways Our Body Age, is because we need to know about what we can expect and how we can minimize its effects on our lives. And certainly exercise is one of the big things.
So the name of your book is
The ways our bodies age. Yeah.
The Ways Our Bodies Age. I'm going to post that on the show notes.
Okay.
And is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. Yeah.
Perfect.
But
So
if you read a medical text, is so confusing and the words are so big. Uh, I wanted to kind of tell the stories of real people and what
nice,
they experienced, not by naming them because that would be a HIPAA violation, if you know what that is,
right?
but by kind of telling the story of maybe three or four people who had the same problems and how they kind of reacted to those problems and overcame them or understood them so that they could live their lives normally and enjoy
Awesome.
their lives and run.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't imagine. Well, you know what? This is beautiful because my mom was really old at 40. She had an old mindset. She had a fearful mindset. We can't do anything because you're going to go hurt yourself. So you don't want to hurt yourself. So we just sit here. And so she ended up passing at 64, which is really young.
And you're exactly the opposite. How did
Exactly
that
the
happen?
because I was put in that family for some other reason, but it wasn't their journey.
Exactly.
My soul is driven by the sense of adventure.
And you need that sense of adventure and also that sense of community.
Oh, for
Having
sure.
interactions with other people is very important to maintaining function. And you can do that a bit when you're running. You can take your 99-year-old neighbor out. So
Exactly.
there are
But
all kinds of,
that maybe speak to this a little bit because sometimes people who age, and I watched my aunt and uncle do this. My parents died young. One was from, I don't know, 50 years of alcoholism, and the other one was, she died of Lou Gehrig's disease. But they died young. And my aunt and uncle died later in life, and my grandparents on my dad's side lived to their late 90s. So the thing at aging, though, and we get to that point of people around us dying, our
yes,
friends and this, but we're not, and we're still in good. I think that's has a lot. Well, Marianne has her kids, but I don't know, and she maintains relationship. Marianne's my neighbor who maintains
yeah,
relationships with all the neighbors there, and everybody's. It's a really nice community here. But people, what can people do when they find themselves as they're aging? Their kids are gone, their kids all moved away, their friends are not around anymore, and they're alone. What can you share? What can they do to start getting, because community is super important to our health.
yes,
Being with people, we are meant to connect, we are meant to be with community, we're meant to be belonging in a group. And as we
that's
age,
right.
sometimes we get so scared to even reach out there.
I'll tell you the story of Marlene. Uh, she lived in my city, and she became a widow. She took care of her husband for many months as he was declining, and she was in her probably her mid to late 80s, and she said to herself, if I don't remain active and social, I'm going to deteriorate because my children, she said, have also, scattered all over the country. And so she became the driver for people who needed on her block to go to doctor's appointments or who needed to go to the library or whatever. She did have several older folks on her block. She would cook the meals. In one case, she even stayed with a lady who didn't have any relatives and who was very ill and subsequently died. She was that person's not caregiver, but that person's connection with the world. She's still going strong. She's in her 90s now, but she was determined not to let the bad things that had happened overwhelm her and to figure out a way that she could be active. And yes, she did walk all over Europe with her daughter a couple
Nice.
of years ago.
Nice.
So I think it's kind of a mental challenge as well as a physical challenge that
Yes.
you really have to go out and kind of meet other people, even if it kind of feels a little awkward at first, because everybody likes a smile. It doesn't matter that you are not 25. People love to have themselves recognized. And so, you know, chat with somebody in the grocery store, chat with your next door neighbor, join a church and do the things that churches do. Um, all of these ways of socializing mean you have to kind of step out of your own framework. And most of the times we get to be, 70 or 80 or 90, we enjoy sitting in front of the TV instead of being very active. But we have to kind of push ourselves, and the rewards are very great. And that includes the reward of exercise and so forth. Some of the most active people I have encountered in my long career have been the parents of disabled children. And they're in their 70s or even their 80s, but their children are disabled and have been for many years. And these people, interestingly enough, retain function because they have a purpose in caring for the child that no one else really can care for as they do. So I've always admired these people. I think we ought to instead of having movie stars as our templates, we ought to think about the people who do the work of society, even into advanced age, and keep on doing it because they can.
Yeah.
I've
You
always been very impressed by them.
as well as me, and I think that's a beautiful thing to be inspired by. And you mentioned a word here, and I think this has a lot to do with it too, because when we're kids, our purpose is to get older. And when we're in high school, our purpose is to go to college, and then we got to get married, and then we have kids, and then now our purpose is to get a job. And these are all things I'm doing. Purpose really is about being. But as we age, and I'm going to just go with retirement. So many people work jobs all the way up to the very end, and that's been their thing for life. And then what? And so they retire. And I saw one of my bosses, but he also spent his whole life being angry. He died 5 years after he retired. I'm going to set, I'm going to bet the anger is what got him, not necessarily having, because he came back to work and said, Karen, how do I ride a bike? So even though he used to put me down and say I was a bad employee, but I just intimidated him. But it's losing our purpose. It's losing you lose your purpose, you lose your connection, you have to redefine your life.
Yes, you do. And you're going to have changes physiologically. So
Yeah,
how can you work with those changes to ensure that they don't impact your life? So you're right. You do have to kind of rethink why you're here
yeah,
and what you can do to be a positive factor, because we're going to be seeing a terrific demographic change in the next, 20 or 30 years. Nobody's having little babies anymore, at least not on the West Coast, I don't think. And so we're going to see the graying of America big time. It's predicted that by, I guess, the 2040s, I could have this wrong, there are going to be more people over 65 than under 18. So we're going to have to be productive for a longer period of time. And that means keeping our physical and mental strength up to par. Uh, so we need to kind of see how we can prepare for this. And exercise is a big part of this. And we
big
talk with
part of that.
every patient
Yes.
about exercise, making sure that they're doing that. It's a magic drug.
Well, when I got into so in working, I'm from the um probably the back end of the baby boomers, and they're talking about longevity, and businesses set up their retirement saying, well, these on average these people die by 60 something. Then on average these people die at 70 something. So it keeps changing. And so they're looking at their actuarials on retirement and the retirement funds on how long people will live. And it became apparent that the average age well, people running, actually it started off when I started running 100 milers, the average age of a 100 miler was 50, in the mid 50s or above. Now that age is lowering because now 18 and early 20s and 30s are really rocking the trails, rocking the races. But there were more people in the baby boomers that defied the average lifespan and increased that lifespan by being rebellious and started exercising and started rebellious in a
As
good
they
way.
should, as they should. They were a rebellious generation. They're going to stay that way, by golly.
Exactly. And I came from there.
And there you go. Right, right.
But I love them. I don't know. I love my idea of age that is just a number and we can still do anything that's possible. And I keep taking myself to that next level. So at my age, I can still set age records. I can still set, but some of these people are doing amazing things at much older than me, and I'm going to keep going until I can't. I'm looking at after 100. I'm hoping.
Right. You got to break that 100 barrier.
I
Yes.
know. I figured 116. If my dad in his lifestyle made it to 74, I can make it to 116.
Well, a couple of things, the age of retirement was actually, Social Security started, as I understand it, in the 1930s. And most people didn't have the benefits of vaccinations, of the kind of medical care we have now, of good food and so forth. And so the age of death was around 66. However, what they did was to take a generation. So everybody born in 1933, maybe there were 1 million people born that year, and there were only maybe 20,000 left in 1933. But a lot of those people died in childhood because childhood diseases were rampant in, what would that be, like 1870, 1888, 1880. And now we don't see these childhood diseases anymore because we vaccinate and we do prophylactic things to keep kids healthy.
Yes.
So that the what did they say? There are statistics and damn statistics. So these statistics do not really reflect the longevity of people today, and we've got to kind of reassess where we are so that people who want to stay working can do that
Yeah,
and can enjoy it, because a lot of people love it. It's a good place to socialize, and then they can run before or after work.
that's right. Or they can run to work and then run home.
There you go. Or take a bike. I mean, there's all kinds of things you
I
can
used
do.
to ride my bike almost every single day to work. And
That's
then
great.
and run at lunch. I used to, when I was doing for a triathlon, I would ride to the pool. I would then leave the pool, ride to work, take a shower at work, run at lunch, take another shower, go back and go and ride home. But that kept I probably saved hundreds of dollars on gas.
Oh, yes,
And I got
especially
home
nowadays.
before all those people sitting in traffic because I was on the levee. I was down by the American River in the West Sac area, the Pocket area, and riding along the river. And I'm seeing all those people sit in traffic, and I'm on my bike going boom.
Well, good for you. And yes, that would be a wonderful thing if everybody did that. But so the statistics are a little bit skewed in terms of the current generation, and that's going to kind of be a problem because we have to reset our endpoint and reset the possible as people live longer and
Yeah,
have better health.
yeah, I love that.
So got to start somewhere.
I know you got to start somewhere. And like I said, I plan to keep doing this as long as I can. And if I can help other people do that, I believe in the power of the body. I believe in our health. And I believe in, just my sense of adventure is still just as alive as it was when I was a kid.
Oh, yes.
And the
Don't lose that sense of adventure, the sense of
curiosity.
wonder. That is
Yeah,
so important.
exactly.
Yeah.
We should
There's,
all have that. Actually, we all have that inside of us. It's just you got to go
yes.
back and find it again.
Yep.
Find it
There-
again.
There's an interesting story, and I hope I have this correct. The person who was the Guinness Book of World Records oldest person in the world up until probably a year and a half ago, actually was a French nun. So the people that wear the habits, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, she actually took the place of a Japanese woman. The Japanese have tremendous longevity, as you probably know, kind of akin to the blue zones. And so she had been in a convent for a long time. She survived COVID, had COVID and survived,
Okay.
and she had a tremendous sense of humor. So uh, somebody once asked her when she was probably about 117 why she didn't retire. And her response was said to be, well, in this kind of profession, you can't retire. I thought that was really cute. Unfortunately, she's passed on and probably is looking down at us and enjoying an even better life.
Right. So in your little notes that you sent me, we are running grandmas with our grandchildren. Do you run with your grandchildren or any of your grandchildren? Um,
Unfortunately, several of my grandchildren are teenagers or young adults, and they are much faster than I am. So I don't want to be embarrassed I do play ball with them sometimes. We have a basketball net and stuff like that. But I tend to run when nobody can see me so they don't laugh at me. And I can run in the dark before work, and that
Well,
works.
I hope they can see you. I hope you have reflective stuff on. I did become very adamant about being seen when I rode my bike to work because it was dark.
Yeah.
And there's people out there that they're not awake and they don't see the cyclist, but I made sure I had reflective stuff on. I was obnoxious with lights. I was
Well, my daughter-in-law gave me some reflective stuff for
good,
Christmas. So I'm
good,
all set
good,
now.
good. I have my son, my youngest son, married a woman who has three beautiful boys. And I had the opportunity to pick them up from school the past 2 days. And one of them wants to do a triathlon. So
Good
the
for
oldest,
him.
the oldest
You've
one
been a
is
good example.
I know the oldest one's 16, and we went down there for dinner, and he's like, "Well, he ran 11 miles that day," and I'm like,
Wow.
"Good on you, Gavin." And he's like intrigued with my running, and he asked me, "What was your next big event?" And I said, "It's going to be Cocodona 250," and he's just like stood back, and he was like inspired, not scared, but
I think
inspired.
that's
I
wonderful.
do too.
You are raising the next generation to
I
live a
know.
long time and live long and prospered.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah. I told him yesterday, I said, so when I get into Western States, you want to pace me?
And he will be a triathloner too.
He will. He's going to do
Triathlete.
a Olympic distance, his first one, and I just think that's awesome. I just think that it's his own drive, it's his own
Yeah.
curiosity and his own ambition. So I just
But
think
your
that's
example is so good. We have to give our grandchildren, our children, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, if we have them, I don't have any yet. We have to give them examples
yes,
of what it's like to age well. And
yes,
that includes exercise. And it
yes, it
includes
does.
eating food you might not like, but you do it anyway.
So my middle child had their youngest is born in the first week of November, November 4th, I think. Well, there's a
We
race I
got one
do.
that age.
We
Well, born on
we
that birthday. Yeah.
of course you do. We had so there's a race I did Rio de Lago, which is that same weekend. And I, fortunately, that weekend is the time change here in California, so I could still run. And then I got another hour after I finished. And it was always her birthday on that Sunday. So I'd have to come home. My husband would have to drive me home. I'd have to figure out how to take a shower and get something down me to eat, sleep in the car, go to the birthday party, and come back.
Good for you.
In her first birthday, I wrote, I don't know if they even kept the card, but it's too bad if they didn't. I wrote her, I said, what grandmother is going to run 100 miles and come to her granddaughter's first birthday?
I think that's great. They ought to run an article on you in the local paper.
They should.
They really should, because we need all these examples.
We
It
do.
kind of gives people hope they can do it, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, it's you who's going to inspire. So if you stop judging yourself on looking funny and start going out there saying, I'm inspiring somebody else
Oh
to get
no,
off the couch
I can't do that because I work 7 days a week, and the only time I really have is very early morning.
but you're doing it. Good for you.
You got to do it.
Good for
Yeah.
you. Oh my
Awesome.
goodness. So your book is on Amazon. I'm going to post your book in the show notes.
Okay, we'll put it up
Put
here
it up a little bit higher.
a little bit higher.
The ways our bodies age. I love that.
Yeah, we do home visits in geriatrics, and I teach in a residency program with medical students and resident physicians, and so that really was what inspired me to write the book and write it in a way that people would maybe want to read it. I don't expect that. No magic pills, no magic injections. So I'm probably not competitive, but um, just
But you're
want
giving another perspective and you're giving a better attitude, a great attitude to inspire people to do something beyond sitting on the couch and staying small and getting out of their comfort zone. And
as are you. And I very much admire the fact that you're doing a podcast to promote
Yep.
activity. And you are inspirational. You reach a very large audience, I am pretty sure. And so keep it up.
We're getting bigger, and thank you for being on my podcast.
Well, I appreciate it very much. And if you're ever running down in my city, which I wouldn't advise, especially in the summertime, but
I
look me
have
up.
a friend who lives down there. I think he lives in Fresno, so he lives down that way by you.
It's by us, yes, but
Yeah.
a train ride away.
Yeah. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me on, and best of luck in your next endeavor too.
Thank you.